I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and today is March 19th, which means today is my birthday. So, in celebration of that, we'll be doing another walkthrough. Right now, I'm at the Okemo Ski Resort in Vermont, and I'm super hyped for this one because right now, we'll be walking through The Shining. The best movie ever made, my favorite of all time. I cannot wait for this. It's gonna be a great one. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We open up with a car driving across a beautiful landscape. This goes on for a while just to show you how isolated this hotel is gonna be. We meet Jack Torrance, who's looking for a new job as a hotel security guard over the winter. Something about this hotel though is kinda off, because if you see in the background there, that's definitely a hallway. But once he turns into the room, there's a window. That's weird, but it is definitely not a mistake because Stanley Kubrick wanted to make this movie as creepy and eerie as possible. Once Jack sits down, we meet his wife and son, Wendy and Danny. Then once again we're back with Jack, and in his interview, the hotel manager says that he's going to be there for October to May. However, the thing with this hotel is that it's going to be completely isolated and packed in due to the snow. But Jack says that that's just what he needs to write his new book. Because, well, it's a Stephen King movie and we obviously have to have a book writer in there somewhere. But then the owner explains that the last time they had a guard over the winter, the guard killed his wife and kids. The interview goes well though, and then we're back with Wendy and Danny and his all too real imaginary friend.
Tony, do you think Dad'll get the job? He already did. He's gonna phone Wendy up in a few minutes to tell her.
Someone's triggered back there, Jesus. Then out of nowhere, blood starts spilling out of the elevator? What? Danny has an appointment with the doctor, and then Wendy explains how one day Jack came home drunk and broke Danny's arm.
We're from Vermont.
Hey, that's where I am too right now. Sweet. We're with the family who's driving up to the Overlook Hotel together. Once we get there, they reveal that the hotel is actually built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Danny's in the game room shooting darts when he turns around and... Fun fact, these two girls aren't actually twins like most people say they are. They're actually 8 and 10, like this guy said earlier.
My predecessor in this job hired a man named Charles Grady as the winter caretaker. And he came up here with his wife and 2 little girls, I think about 8 and 10.
They explore their new room, and then we get transported to the hedge maze. We meet the head chef, Dick Halloran, and he shows them the kitchen.
You got 15 rib roasts, 30 10-pound bags of hamburger. We got 12 turkeys, about 40 chickens, 50 sirloin steaks, 2 dozen of pork roasts.
Damn, that's a lot of meat. He then shows them the pantry, and once Wendy leaves, Dick explains to Danny how he has a superpower sort of thing, known as the Shine.
My grandmother and I could hold conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths. She called it shining.
Danny explains Tony to Halloran, and then he says,
Is there something bad here?
he asks Dick about room 237, because he saw that room in a vision earlier. Dick tells him that nothing's in there, and he tells him to stay out. Danny's going through the halls on a tricycle for the first time in this movie, and then Wendy begins to talk with Jack, and Jack says,
I came up here for my interview. It was as though I'd been here before. I mean, we all have moments of deja vu, but this was ridiculous.
Later on, Wendy and Danny are going through the hedge maze, and then Jack looks at the hedge maze model from inside the hotel. Then we get this transition.
That one was incredible.
Wendy's making breakfast, and a news report says there's going to be a massive snowstorm coming later that week. Meanwhile, Danny's trekking through the hallway, but he sees room 237. He almost goes into it, but decides against it at the last second. After this, Wendy walks into Jack's working space, and we get the first hint of Jack's insanity.
Whenever you come in here and interrupt me, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me. And it will then take me time to get back to where I was. And we're going to make a new rule. Whenever I'm in here, you hear me typing, whether you don't hear me typing, what the fuck you hear me doing in here, when I'm in here, that means that I am working. That means don't come in. Why don't you start right now and get the fuck out of here?
Another spooky bit of the hotel happens right here as well. As you can see in this shot, there's nothing in the background, right? But once it turns around, well, there's a chair there that wasn't there before. Wendy and Danny are outside playing in the snow, and then we get a super cool zoom in on Jack Nicholson's insane face. Wendy talks over the radio, and the people on the other end tell her to keep the radio on constantly. Oh boy, then...
Hello, Danny. Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever.
Danny covers his eyes and they're gone. Danny asks his mom if he can get his fire truck toy from his room, and after a little while, he convinces her to let him get it. However, when he gets in there, Jack's awake. We get a super eerie conversation where Danny asks Jack if he'll ever hurt him. Jack's response, a super creepy no.
I love you, Danny. I love you more than anything else in the whole world. I'll never do anything to hurt you.
Danny's playing with his toys in the hallway, and then he feels a presence. Thinking it's his mom, he goes down the hallway and sees an open door. And what room is that to? Well, room 237. We get another spooky bit of the hotel that doesn't make any sense, because in this shot, the carpet pattern looks like this, but when it cuts back to Danny, well, the pattern looks different. We cut to Wendy, who hears Jack screaming. She runs upstairs to discover that he's been having a nightmare. Wait, what is this nightmare about anyways?
I dreamed that I killed you and Danny. But I didn't just kill you. I cut you up into little pieces.
Oh no. Then all of a sudden, Danny walks in with a huge scar on his neck. Wendy blames it on Jack, so Jack goes down to the gold room, but I mean, obviously nobody's there. He says to himself that he would sell his soul for a beer and then wait. Jack grabs a shot of beer, and then we get some more beautiful psycho acting from Jack Nicholson.
I did hurt him once, okay? It was an accident. It was 3 goddamn years ago. The little fucker had thrown all my papers all over the floor. All I tried to do was pull him up. The momentary loss of muscular coordination.
Wendy comes down the hall and tells Jack that there's a crazy lady in one of the rooms who bit Danny. Then we're with Dick, who has a speechless look of fear on his face as he gets contacted by Danny's shine. Jack's now in room 237, where there is indeed a crazy woman in the bathtub. Jack begins to make out with this woman, and then wait a minute. What's that? Holy that is how you make a scene. Dick tries to call the hotel and nobody answers. After this, Jack goes back into his room and assures Wendy that everything is okay. He says that he thinks Danny did the scars to himself, and then Danny starts getting visions of blood elevators and the word red room. Dick then calls the police office to contact the hotel, and then Jack walks into a full party in the gold room. What? Jack gets a beer and then accidentally walks into one of the waiters. The waiter brings Jack into the bathroom and asks Jack's name. He obviously says that his name is Jack, and then Jack asks his name back. And what's his name?
Grady, sir. Delbert Grady.
Jack tells Mr. Grady all the stuff that he's done, but he says that he doesn't recall.
You, chopped your wife and daughter up into little bits. And, then you blew your brains out.
That's strange, sir. I don't have any recollection of that at all.
Jack says that Mr. Grady was the caretaker because, well, he was. But then Mr. Grady says that Jack's the caretaker and he's always been the caretaker. Mr. Grady explains that Danny has special powers and tells Jack to correct his family.
My girls, sir, they didn't care for the Overlook at first. But I corrected them, sir. And when my wife tried to prevent me from doing my duty, I corrected her.
We're back with Wendy, who hears Danny eerily screaming the word Red Room over and over in his room. When she walks in, however, it looks like Tony's completely taken over.
Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
Then, Jack cuts the phone wire. Dick's on a plane to Denver now, and Jack's at hard work typing away his new novel. Wendy goes to check on Jack, and when he gets there, he's nowhere to be found. Wendy goes to look at what Jack's been typing, and wait a minute. That's not a good sign. Jack comes from behind out of the shadows, and we hear their conversation through Danny's shine powers. Jack slowly starts to go crazy on Wendy and chases her up the stairs. Eventually, Wendy knocks him out and drags him into the pantry. Jack says if Wendy lets him out, then he'll forget the whole thing, but then Wendy leaves and Jack says,
"You're not going anywhere." Go check out the snowcat in the radio and you see what I mean.
Jack wakes up in the pantry and he hears Mr. Grady on the other side. After a while of convincing, Grady opens the door for Jack. While still chanting the word Red Room, Danny grabs a knife and lipstick, and he writes the word on the wall. When Wendy wakes up, what does she see in the mirror? Oh boy. Jack begins to break in, and Wendy manages to get Danny out of the hotel. Then we get the most iconic scene in the entire movie.
Here's Johnny.
Dick Halloran just showed up, so Jack temporarily switches his focus to go after him. He walks through the hotel and then gets stabbed through the heart with an axe. What? Oh my god, that was out of nowhere. Then Wendy walks upstairs to see a bear giving head. Danny's running through the maze while being chased by Jack, and then Wendy sees some more weird and some more. And even more! Then Danny notices his footprints are leaving a path right to him for his dad. So awesomely, the 6-year-old covers up his tracks and actually manages to run away from his father. He manages to escape the maze, and Danny and Wendy successfully manage to escape. A picture flash shows that, well, Jack froze. This movie is actually so great that I'm gonna give the best kill to both of them, because Jack had a satisfying ending with his death, and Dick's was so absolutely out of nowhere that it was just incredible. But it's not the end of the movie yet, because a zoom in on a photo shows us that Jack has indeed been here before. And as a matter of fact, he's been the caretaker forever and ever. End of movie. Thanks for watching my walkthrough on my favorite movie of all time, The Shining. Right now I'm in the Okemo Hotel. You have no idea how many times people have just walked down this hallway and seen me recording. It's pretty weird, but whatever. It's a great movie. I absolutely love it. And right now I'm actually recording in January, so if this does come out on my birthday, then that would be sick. Literally at the time of recording this, I just uploaded the Seed of Chucky video, so thank God I get to go from my least favorite movie to my favorite of all time. And I'm actually filming in a hotel right now in the winter, so that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, stay tuned for my next walkthrough, which if everything goes to plan will be Psycho. Thank you so much for watching this walkthrough. So goodbye and good night. Bang!